Yo, what is up? What is up? And yes, that's not a glitch on my screen. That is the man. That is the myth. That is the legend. They know him as the Almighty EROCK. He is in the building. And welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's my daughter's 11th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So we're all excited about that, and I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I'm ready to talk some Eagles. Let's do it.
Oh yeah. So everybody, if you've been living under a damn rock, you know this guy has been all over the map. East, west, south, north. I mean, EROCK has been touching down in these states, and it's always exciting to see you doing these things because it's like us fans that are not able to travel and go see the Hall of Fame, Brian Dawkins. You doing these things also lets the fans feel like, hey, EROCK's there. I met EROCK, so it kind of feels like you're giving us that insight of touching down, LA, Carson, Dallas, Orleans, Atlanta, and all the shenanigans that go down. And you do your little. I mean, you're a crazy wild guy, so you let it be known that you're not quiet. You. I see you guys out there messing around, and I know like these guys like who's this EROCK dude? You're not trying to walk in our stadium, bro, with your signs and stuff. So it's just awesome that you hold it down for the Eagles fans, and you've been that way pretty much since I've known you. So
yeah, that's something early on in my social media career. This is what I tried to do. It's not lost on me that I'm incredibly fortunate to be a season ticket holder and have been going to these games all of my life, and to have just this upbringing of being a Philadelphia sports fan, and the more well-traveled I became, the more I started to realize, like, look, there's these West Coast Eagles fans. They're absolutely diehard. They're ravenous for their Eagles. They show the same type of passion that the fans do in Philly or Jersey or Delaware or the middle of Pennsylvania. Like kind of like the local in-market fans. But I'm fortunate enough to be there, so I kind of started the whole social media thing as a way to kind of like, here's what I see, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And kind of go along this journey with me. And that's kind of that's what made 2020 kind of suck. Besides all the obvious shit that made 2020 suck, was the fact that fans weren't there, so I couldn't be there, so I couldn't bring you guys the kind of content that I was used to bringing you guys, which was the authentic game day, like this is what's going on,
Yes. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in right now. Elsa, I had her on today. She's another great Eagles diva, and she represents and she travels, man. She hasn't been to Philly yet, so she plans on being to Philly, and she's definitely going to be meeting Mr. EROCK and getting that whole west and east meet again, and just taking back what you do, especially at the tailgate. I mean, when you see all the videos and all the fun stuff you guys have, you're over here wearing, you got your cross and your bishop hat and your blessed, doing all that stuff, man. And it was just great seeing you guys just having fun. And I mean, you putting on that show is another thing. Like, you have your content, and then doing a tailgate thing is another beast of an animal. So I could just imagine the sleep that you don't get. Like, you just must be so tired because you bring everything, and then you got to take your ass home with everything. You can't just leave it there. So I mean, that's a lot of work that you've done, brother.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot of game days are a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately enough, we're kind of used to the way things go there, and I'm not sure, even if it was my family tailgating or just friends tailgating, that it would be really any different of a setup. It would probably be the same exact way we go about business. We were just inviting, people to, again, enjoy that experience. Like, look, I grew up tailgating. I grew up. This is how I was raised.
Right.
This is what game day tradition is for me. This is what's important to my family. This is what's important to me. So, I just like to share the things that I'm passionate about, with other people. And if they dig it, they dig it. If they don't, they don't. But it's out there, and if they want to follow along, they can follow along and have a good time.
That's what it's all about, man. I mean, you teach us fans to, live a different way. Just enjoy the experience and, that brotherhood, the sisterhood. And especially that you once in a while you get blessed and a actual player will hang out with you guys, or even an ex-player like John, John Dornbos.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about John is that it's such a small world, brother. In Corona, there's a pizza place that we go to. It's a bomb place to eat pizza. And shout out to my homie Louie. He bumped into John's parents down there because they were Eagle fans. They were watching, the game and stuff, and they had brought it up, and they said, hey, we know John. Now this wasn't his actual parents; it's the ones that raised him.
Right.
So, and it's funny. I'm like, dude, Corona, California, dude, that's my backyard, man. It's just like, and then I was hearing like Zach Ertz was going to a church out here in Rancho Cucamonga. I was able to meet David Akers. He was up here in the high desert because you know how he does his church thing. So he did a whole show up here. So we got to meet David Akers.
That's cool.
And it's just like, it's so cool when a ex-player is just like down to earth and, what was so funny about David Akers is that, okay, he's going to the church and he's preaching to us and, to live right and stuff. And then he goes to Dallas after we win the Super Bowl, and he just rocks he's a rock star. Did you see him? The way he just tore it, just gave Dallas the business. I was like, wait a second, is that David from church? Did he really just go to Dallas? But it was awesome, man.
Listen, man, church going folk, that's certainly one thing. But when it comes to the Eagles or the Dallas Cowboys, like a lot of shit just goes right out the window. You know what I mean?
Right, dude. Like
you gotta ask the Lord for forgiveness later with some of that stuff. You just gotta live in the moment when it comes to the Birds.
But it's just crazy, Rock, because like somehow, some way, there's a little piece of the Eagles, family that's, you got Deshaun out here and he's his LA thing. And then his second home to me is, Philadelphia. So all the people that he met down there. And it's just like, it's so awesome that the true ones that get Philadelphia, they stay Philadelphia, I hopefully get to meet Ron Jaworski. I'm a big fan of his, and I just love that he just still hangs with the Eagles. Like, Selleck, there's just certain Eagle players, and I'll ask you about that. How do you think that happens? How do you think that these ex-players just still find a home in Philadelphia? Like, what is it that they understand, and that's like their second home?
I think the city in general just has a lot of charm to it. It's a very unique city. It's not New York. It's not Washington. It's not Baltimore. It's not Boston. It's not any of the other Northeast cities. It's its own identity, and sort of when you can. There's a lot of ex-players. It doesn't matter whether it's the Flyers, Bernie Parent and so on, or Phillies players, or Sixers players, and especially a lot of Eagles players. When you kind of get it, when you get what it's like being here, and you have to have a connection with the city. That's why certain players, they'll go, well, they never understood Philadelphia, or they never got us, or they never understood the city, and people will just kind of poo-poo that off. Like, what does that even mean?
Right.
Well, ask the guys who stick around.
Right.
Ask them, why do you make your home here? Why did you continue to stay after your playing career? Because it's not like Brent Selleck is out there in the media, trying to get himself a job,
right,
on NBC Sports Philly post game. It's not like Jason Kelsey is another guy who's just gonna.
Man,
we're never. Thank the Lord, we're never gonna lose him. Hopefully we never lose him, and I don't think we will, because he's just made a connection here in this city that he could run for mayor and win tomorrow.
I mean, when you seen his speech live, dude, like what was going through your brain when you were witnessing that greatness, man? Because that's a historic moment in time, man. Like, what was going through your brain? Like, what the hell?
So the parade, the parade was a special moment for me, and we really made it a point to, that whole 2017 season, playoffs included, was very much about, the tailgates were rocking. It was very much about everybody else, right? It was very much about everybody else. Even the Super Bowl party we threw, was my family was, I don't know, maybe 6 of us, and then the place was packed with people, friends that we invited and whatnot. We rented out a bar near, like we rented out a bar, like this is our bar now. So for the parade, we really wanted to make that about mom, you know what I mean? And the rest of the boys, the 4th and John boys, they were over by the art museum to see everything. And a friend of mine lived right on Broad Street, kind of close to Washington, in like a higher end apartment complex, and they had cordoned off the sidewalk specifically for residents of that apartment complex. And so, he invited me, he said, listen, it's going to be roped off. It's just going to be us. You're not going to be crammed and jammed with people. My father was in the parade because my father actually just this year retired, but he was on, original member of the Eagles drum line, so he was on a float. So the parade itself, I tried to make, we really tried to make that about mom and dad and not anybody else.
Right.
So we got mom a great seat, a great view, and dad was on the right side, and he saw us and we saw them. There was a lot of ugly crying involved. I don't want to get into it. There was a lot of ugly crying involved. But the Kelsey speech, I didn't see. I saw it in a bar. After they passed by, they still had 2 hours before they hit the art museum steps.
Right.
And so we kind of had to walk a while away and then hop in an Uber to a sports bar. So the Jason Kelsey speech I saw with sub captions when he went up there. I didn't hear it, but I was watching on TV and it just kept going blank. And I was like, oh, Jason Kelsey swearing up a storm. Like I didn't even need to hear it. I just fucking knew by the reaction of the people behind him and the fact that, it was like caption, blank, caption, like the whole fucking thing went, and you knew he was just rocking it. So I didn't see it live, but I recently watched that again. I recently was like, I got to go back and watch that a couple days ago. And
I actually, I was going down the EROCK YouTube video, and I was looking at, and then you did the reenactment, and I mean, you actually did your own little kind of Jason Kelsey speech yourself, and that was pretty epic, and I was so happy to witness that jersey burning. That was a great idea. I was so sick and tired of seeing license plate man with that jersey, man. Like, he actually got so pissed at me. He blocked me on Twitter. So, license plate guy, I'm sorry, man. Forgive me.
License plate guy is good people, though. He's
let him know. Give Birdman another chance. I'll play nice, man.
Joe, he catches a lot of shit, but Joe's a sweetheart. He does a lot of stuff for charity. He kind of does it wearing the wrong colors, but
But man, he was really giving us that. I was tired of seeing that stupid fit. Man, I ate my soul alive every time I see it. And this is pre-Super Bowl, so all the times he's like this, and then that picture, and he's like that with the. Oh man.
I remember seeing him at the link, and I'm like, I just want to knock it. This is before I was like, I want to knock this guy the fuck out, dude. I'm so sick of
I would have been license plate guy.
Yeah. But you know what? You got to talk to him. I had the chance to meet him. I had the chance to be on a Rachel Ray's cooking show with him. We raised a bunch of money. We just talked yesterday. We just talked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we stay in communication. He's a good guy. He's good people.
Yeah. So and it's funny because obviously I haven't really talked to Cop Pizzle, but he's definitely one that I do want to get on his show. because I've been like messaging him, and he definitely has been getting on my nerves for some years now. I did call on his show a couple times. It was pretty funny. He's like, "Who is this?" I'm like, "This is Birdman." He's like, "Birdman, do I know you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know EROCK." And he's like, "I know EROCK." Oh, he's hilarious, man. But
EROCK versus Cop Bizzle is one of the oldest YouTube feuds going. Like that's like the we'll be 80 years old in wheelchairs, camming up and just talking shit at each other.
Hitting each other.
Yeah.
And you're still gonna have his hard hat. Like, here's your little dumpster fire right here. Here's it.
Well, actually, I told he wants it back. Like, he wants to bet me for it back, and I'd be like, to be honest with you, dude, I don't even know where that is. Like, it's a good thing I'm in the process of moving right now, because I'm like finding Eagles shit that I forgot I had. I'm like, oh my god, a Super Bowl picture of Jason signed by Jason Peters and Brett Corey. Like, I'm finding shit that I forgot I even had.
So how far did you move from? Like, how are we getting?
Just 10 minutes south of where I was.
Oh, okay, so you're still pretty close to the stadium.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on the Jersey side. When I first started YouTube, I was living in Philadelphia, and then when we had my daughter, again, she just turned 11 today. We moved back to the Jersey side of the river.
And what's funny is that my uncle over here, he fell in love with the girl over here who happened to be from Philadelphia. So he took his California butt, and now he's in Philadelphia, and he happens to be a Colts fan. But good luck to him, because the whole family's Philadelphia. So it's kind of cool that I have a family member that's got got the little Philadelphians over there, and there's nothing he can do about it. So it's funny because I just post jabs. I'm like, man, you messed up, and you're with an Eagles fan. Like, okay, man, and you're in Philadelphia. So
that's gonna be an interesting dynamic this year with the whole Wentz thing.
Oh, I know he hasn't really messaged me yet, so I'm waiting for that. But he actually called me when after it was said and done, we won the bowl. And I think he was right there with you guys, and he's running for his life because people were lighting fireworks. He's like, nephew, no, boom! Oh God, nephew, we did it! Because he's cheering with it was funny, but it was awesome too. And I was in Vegas, and I was at the Eagles bar, and man, you want to talk about that? I thought I was king shit. I was like, I had my 4th and John. I had that roll the J, pass the blunt, and all that stuff. And I was rocking the 4th and John.
Nice.
And I just like, man, get the hell out of my way. Any Cowboy fan that was walking, I was like, are you looking at something? Are you looking at something? It was just, I was on cloud 9, man. That was just the greatest. I haven't felt that great. And I could just imagine what you guys are doing, like how you guys are feeling. I mean, God, man, like winning that Super Bowl has to taken years off our life, man, because that was the most stressful thing, and right down to the last second, we couldn't have it any other way. To the last freaking second, dude. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? And it was just like that big deep breath, bro, and the tears just started flowing. I'm hugging complete strangers, just crying on my shoulder. It was the most awesome thing. And the couple we met from Hawaii, I invited them to go to, because they didn't know what to do, so we went to the Eagles bar. Shout out to Las Vegas, and they had a great time, dude. The owner is from Philadelphia. He hooked it up, dude. He had shrimp cocktail, like a mountain of shrimp. He had the pasta salad. He had pasta, and the beers were $3. He was doing giveaways. He did like a whole show. I mean, he was totally entertaining us. And I swear to God, I probably spent maybe $30 in Vegas. Who does that? I mean, he had the tables and chairs outside at a big screen because he knew there was going to be an overflow. But it was just the greatest thing to experience. And like, it was such. And there was a Patriot fan there, and he was flapping his gums every single minute. I mean, we almost had to stop. He was, and this guy was in the military, so he was extra flapping his gums because he knew he could fight. And we had to calm this guy down because he would not shut up. And especially when they were sort of making the comeback and, wide open Gronk and crap. And oh my God, when those touchdowns happened, he was in our face like, I told you, this is what we do. This is what we do. I'm like, oh man, shut up, dude. I was like, give me my bet, man. I can't take this no more. But at the end of the day, we ruled and we gave him that exit. Like, you see that door, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. And he bowed down. He was like this. And I mean, to beat Tom Brady, especially that the Eagles beat the GOAT, I mean, we went out with style. There's no better way how that happened.
Yeah, one of the memories that I'll always kind of keep with me of that night. And like I said at the top of the show, like I always like to share my experiences and kind of put it on camera but this one there was no possible way, like even if I held up an iPhone, that it would do it any justice. So all I wanted to fucking do was grab the beer bong ladder and go out to Broad Street, because we were only a couple blocks from Broad Street, and go to basically, where the City Hall is, and I wanted to set up right in the middle and do beer bong baptisms. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to do beer bongs on Broad Street. That's what I kept talking about.
Yeah.
So after they won and we all gave the hugs and the high fives and the tears and everything, I got up in front of everybody and just screamed like, who wants to go to fucking Broad Street? Grab the ladder, grab the beer bong, grab the hat, and set up the ladder like right smack dab in the front of Broad Street with the City Hall on my back. And I climbed up on the ladder and people started cheering, and I wasn't even like registering the people directly in front of me. Even if I had a camera, I could not do justice to the scene that was in front of me, which was just as far as the eye could see. Just people wearing Eagles jerseys just coming.
Jeez.
And just nonstop. It was like the happiest Walking Dead zombie. But like instead of zombies, it was just jubilation. And like as far as you could, a camera or a video camera would never do justice. And I wish everyone could see what I saw the minute I climbed up that ladder. Because it was just the happiest, and it just kept coming. There wasn't waves. It was just like, I've never seen so many people in one spot in my lifetime.
All right, man. I mean, we're gonna take a trip down memory lane real quick. So we're gonna view the little movie I made. Let me show you this clip though, because I want to let you know like the shit that I be doing to these other content creators. And this is Mark Holmes here.
Look, see, this is what I love. I love it when those Eagle motherfuckers come up in here. You gotta love those trash can yards. If trash yards, as you put it. See, you know what? I ain't taking no shit tonight.
If put it from the beginning.
We're saying all these guys are better than Dak Prescott.
So I got him off guard right here. Look, he's pissed. He's really pissed.
You know what, Birdman? Let me ask you this, buddy. Look, see, this is what I love. I love it when those Eagle motherfuckers come up in here. You gotta love those trash can yards. If trash yards, as you put it. See, you know what? I ain't taking no shit tonight. If you Eagle trolls, if you dumbass motherfuckers want to come up here and fuck with me tonight.
Wait, big man.
Oh yeah, listen to this.
Please bring that shit. Bring it, okay? Because I'm gonna bitch slap your motherfucking asses tonight, okay?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
So man, it's just like I love messing with these guys. Shout out to Mark Holmes. He's got a huge following, but I do give him I give him hell, man, because the way he talks about our birds, I'm like, you're not gonna just talk that smack about my birds. You're gonna get some of that right back at you.
Yeah, he seemed pretty upset about that.
Yeah,
and that's typical Cowboys fan shit. Like, we'll talk about your shit at the beginning of the season.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it's just by, I've never seen anything quite like the Dallas Cowboys, where they have all the talent in the world, but they got absolutely no heart, no balls whatsoever.
Oh, and you know what the NFL did? They blessed us by putting the Cowboys on Hard Knocks.
Oh, the Cowboys are on Hard Knocks?
Yes, they got nominated for Hard Knocks.
Oh wow!
You know what that means.
What's that mean?
What happens when you get on Hard Knocks? Nothing happens.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
The expectations and the Super Bowl. Like, dude, I mean, there's better teams. I mean, you could have went. I don't know what team would you have rather seen? I would have seen like the Bills or something. I don't know, somebody else.
I would have loved to see the Bills.
Yeah,
I think the Bills would have been a great one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be a hater or nothing, but we've been there, done that already, guy. Okay, like, but you know, Jerry, he goes in those pockets. He's like, I got that Super Bowl winning team now.
I think Indianapolis also would have been a good one. What? Oh my God! What are we doing here?
So if you guys didn't know, Mr. EROCK runs a nice 40-yard dash.
6'8". I say 7'2". On your mark.
Barefooted, by the way, because I was wearing dress shoes.
On your mark. Get set. Go.
There's something you should know.
The legend continues.
Right, kids, sit down. That's right, gather round. Santa EROCK's going to tell you a story. It's called 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. It's a classic, so pay attention. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all throughout Dallas, every douchebag Cowboys fan was piling in to Jerry's Palace.
Everybody is my witness.
Look at that young EROCK.
Airbrush tan when I go on vacation. Load on the sunblock and stay out of the sun.
Oh my God. Oh no. I had to go shirtless. Oh my God. I'm getting spray tan.
Here it comes.
I'm too sexy for my car. Too sexy
What is
for
this?
my car. Too sexy by far.
It's just like EROCK.
Greetings from New York City, Eagles fans. It's EROCK here at the first round of the 2012 draft. And once again, Eagles fans are representing very well here at Radio City Music Hall, and all of them are very excited to have the 15th overall pick. What up, Eagles fans? It's your boy EROCK here in the parking lots of Lincoln Financial Field. Now, it is a wild scene out here tonight for 3 reasons. Number 1, it's the day before Halloween. Me, I'm dressed up like a Cowboys fan. Number 2, we got the Cowboys in town. And number 3, I think it might be a full moon. Name source was within the
You remember this day?
Because look, when you have a decision of this magnitude, and this was this was a big one.
Am I talking about the
all of a
Sean?
sudden just let it out there.
Yeah.
You'll be driving home from work one day, you listen to Mikey Miss or whatever idiot they got from Houston now on WIP.
Ooh,
and all of a sudden
look at
they
me
say,
taking
hey,
shots.
the Eagles cut Deshaun Jackson. You
I don't know
will
how to
have
do that.
people flying off the Ben Franklin Bridge. You'll have people swerving off the Walt Whitman. You're going to have people grabbing their pitchforks and torches and storming the NovaCare complex.
By the way,
So
this
when
was
you
a
have a
terrible
decision
take.
of this magnitude, you need to let a little air out of the balloon, you know what I mean? It's bullshit. I mean, the NFL tosses us away after a couple weeks like, hey,
Yeah.
thanks for taking the heat.
Yeah.
By the way, when I was doing, like, you saw a lot of those videos with the PhiladelphiaEagles.com mic to it. So, I did some on-camera work for the Eagles for like 2.5 years. And when I made that video, like, it was funny. Every time I would go into the building or whatever, there would be, and I'm not going to repeat all the stories, but like every week it seemed to be like, all right, like it was the gossip column. Like, what did Deshaun and LaShawn get into this week?
Yeah.
Like, there was always something. I'm not going to repeat the stories.
Right.
But, there was certain times where I was in a room and I'm like, do they fucking know I'm in this room? Like, should they be talking about this shit in front of me?
Wow.
And so when the Deshaun thing happened, I wasn't shocked. I knew there was a lot of stuff, like, they got away with a lot of stuff. None of it, but I did find it curious that they always blamed it on like gang ties or something. Like that was the first time I ever heard anything gang related. So I thought that was fugazi. But like when people were like, "Oh, he got cut for no reason," I was like, this organization probably put up with a lot more shit than others would have, and that's just knowing what this from being in there.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I just wanted to add that because it was kind of in hindsight, the whole Deshaun thing, he should have never left. Chip Kelly was an asshole, but at the time it was like it might be a surprise to all of you. It's not necessarily a surprise to me.
Yeah, we could pause at any time. The thing too, when that day happened, I didn't know. I was beside myself. I was pissed, and I watched your video, and I guess you kind of calmed me down because I was. That really bothered me. I was like, because like you got to remember, we don't get to have wide receivers. They always take our receivers from us. We get teamed, and then like he was like the next. Finally, we have. I mean, and he's not like a true number one, but he was in our eyes a number one. Yeah. So it's like you take these great players from us, and it's like it was kind of like deja vu with like the Reggie White or the B-Dog. And then Malcolm Jenkins happens, and stuff like that really irks me, But I guess it's in a way, I listened to you, so it kind of calmed me down a little bit. You did your whole like, okay, Eagles fans, kind of calm down here a little bit, So, but it still stung. It still took me a while.
Yeah.
And it's just like the Eagles. What they do to us, they give us those gray hairs, bro. They like.
Yeah, I shave, but I got them, man. They certainly do. They certainly do. This is when the refs.
For us, while we tried to save a couple of bucks, don't let the door hit you in the ass.
Can you look at the camera, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you look into the camera, sir?
Oh, sorry. What people don't understand is that they put us out there, and we're human, all right? We make mistakes. We have feelings, too. We might be replacement refs, but that doesn't mean that we have replacement feelings. I don't need to be reminded of every shortcoming, every flaw, okay? Every mistake I make. That's my wife's job. I came in like a wrecking ball, and these boys, yes, I caught them all. How we had to move down the hall, and I'm going to trade Shady.
Oh my God.
And it's like I put this in here because I just want to like not everybody that's an Eagle fan gets to do these type of things, but the fact like you can look down memory lane and see that your daughter, you have her on Lincoln Financial with the football. I mean, like that's just an awesome thing right there. And I know there's more things that happen, but for being a dad and a daughter, and you're able to do that, grace her with that, it's like it's so cool.
Yeah, and listen, the fortunate, what am I trying to say here?
Get the right word.
Yeah, the fact that I'm incredibly blessed to do those things is not lost on me.
Yeah.
I feel incredibly fortunate. I feel incredibly grateful, blessed to be able to do those things. So that's never lost on me. That's
awesome
cool stuff. Yeah.
And your daughter, maybe she'll see this video one day. You say, that daddy's right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It just rained that day, and she fell on her butt a couple times. Her teeth were so like she had such mud butt after that.
Oh.
Look at these. Look at these cannolis. You gotta love the cannolis.
Yeah, this is like early.
Got them dancing. There he is.
That's what the tailgates are.
Shout out to Piccolo.
Yeah, this was
Philly. Bird Gang. Yeah. They got enemies, got a lot of enemies. Everybody hating on that Bird Gang energy. They trying to take the wave that we on. Check it and respect it, bruh. It's 4th and John. Ooh wee, yeah, we got that loud pipe. This that show, all Bird Gangs alike. Add Gail, EROCK, Evan, the homie Mike. Ain't no show keeping up in sight. Good question. Yeah. When you watching them birds play, thoughts go through your mind about some misplays. Backstage politics, who's next on the trade block? Tune in to 4th and John, get your answers, bruh. If you be in the city, just know that we get busy. Anytime there's a whole game tailgate, we lit. Cheering on them birds, singing that fight song. EAGLES, we on, look. We from Philly.
Got the belt.
If you don't know, we run these streets the same way the birds run that NFC East. Giants is weak, Skins is trash. Cowboys every season whoop that ass. Look, it ain't no competition. We here for those who listen. Want nothing but the facts. That ego coalition. We could give 2 fucks about your trash ass team. Our concern is about that black, that white, that midnight green. The feathers on the helmet, bruh, our hearts indebted. Fly Eagles fly, what it's about, bruh. I said it. Look up.
Piccolo killed that thing. That was my favorite one that he did. Can we pause it real quick?
It's EROCK.
So he reached out to me and was like, "Hey man, I do beats, I do rhymes, I'm a big Eagles fans. I did something for local sports station out there, and I always got a lot of DMs like just whether it's a photographer that wants to get involved or something. So I was like, all right, man, let's see what you got. I really didn't even put too much stock into it, really.
Right.
And then he came back with that, and I was like, "Holy shit! This guy's legit as fuck."
Yeah, bro, and you made like a great decision because I'm good friends with him. Yeah. I met him at the Greyhound in LA, and we're gonna be I'm trying to get together because I want to do like our own video, like a West Coast rap video. I don't know what you want to call it, but that is definitely in the works because I think people need to know about the West Coast birds and the West Coast fans, and we're really bringing it out here. And the fact that you let it come, it's like you got a taste of the West Coast and you send it to the East Coast. That's exactly what you did right there. And it's just like it's another element to the game that you brought, which is no one's really quite doing what you did. So shout out to you for doing that.
Well, shout out to Piccolo too. He just dropped some new music too, so go check.
Yeah, you're actually on his album. I was listening. I was like, oh, EROCK. He's you're calling him Piccolo, and that's why I was getting confused. Say, oh, it's not Alo, it's Piccolo. So I have to like practice that, not Piccolo.
I was like, dude, why didn't you correct me on it before you put it on the album, man? You gotta. I was saying like Piccolo. It's just the way I've been saying it. Piccolo.
Yeah.
It just doesn't come out like that. That doesn't like roll off, and it's just an accent thing. It doesn't roll off my tongue. Piccolo.
Right.
Piccolo. I don't know. It's just
it's difficult.
Yeah.
All right.
Here at the YouTube space in Los Angeles, getting ready for this big matchup between the Eagles and the Rams. We got Santa Monica Pier on Sunday. We got the game. We got all sorts of things going on. And oh, who's that? Gail's here. What's going on, Gail? How you doing?
Living the dream, man.
Living the dream
team, but living the dream.
You excited to be out in Los Angeles?
Yeah, man. Look at this weather, man. Look at this
beautiful.
weather.
It's beautiful.
You guys look like Hollywood stars.
Victory. Who's that? Oh, Darius is here.
Hey guys,
Big day.
Bro,
hold on. First of all, I gotta stand up on my tippy toes. You gotta lean over a little bit. What's happening, baby? How you doing?
It's good to have you guys back out here. We're gonna show you guys some California love, aren't we?
I love it. You guys were on the East Coast earlier this season, right? We showed you that Philadelphia love.
Oh yeah.
Now we're out here on the West Coast, and we're gonna get some of that California love.
Exactly.
Shout out to
Tupac.
Tupac.
This is how the West Coast Eagle fans. This is how we roll.
Absolutely. We're one big family when you look around, and then who's that? Who's that? It's Delia. She's here as well. What's going on, Delia? How you feeling about this game?
I'm excited. We got East Coast, West Coast together. Man. The gang is reunited. Lit. I mean, magic is bound to happen when this crew is together. I know our Eagles are going to perform on Sunday. can't wait to be there.
Now, speaking of which, we're here at the YouTube space.
I wish you would come crash
magic happening there.
Party.
Eagles fans from coast to coast. Listen, this is how you don't understand. This is how we roll. We roll deep, coast to coast. Eagles fan, Rams. We're gonna take over that friggin' stadium, man. You look at what we did to the Chargers.
Try not to swear.
It's gonna be nothing like that. That stadium seats what, 30,000 people?
Oh man, yeah. About 30,000.
Yeah, 30,000.
There's gonna be 50,000 Eagles fans taking over that stadium, and it starts right now with us. Let's go get it.
There are stingrays out here, so what I like to do is it's something called the Santa Monica Shuffle, and it's simply when you
The Santa Monica
like
Shuffle.
this, and that way they'll disperse after kind of. We're doing this again.
On this episode of Why People Are Crazy.
Yeah.
He's from Philly, and like all I did was like this.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
All I did was just film doing a cheesesteak. He's like, "Hey man, you want to go surfing in the morning?"
Meant to be. It was meant to be.
Yeah, and I didn't know he was like. You want to talk about one of the most down to earth dudes? I didn't know he was famous and well known. I just thought he was doing like, "Hey man, you want to go surfing?" No, I'm not. I'm just good at this. I'm not. Listen, man. I'm not gonna pretend to.
Yeah.
I got up there once. Yeah, he was so cool. Like I just remember being in the ocean. Like I'm out here for an Eagles game, and I'm catching surf lessons from the celebrity chef
out there.
in the Pacific Ocean.
It's harder than it looks. But Nick, the true surfer from Philly, he's going to show you how it's done. Let's get out there.
And he's a Jersey Shore guy. Like he would surf down like Seaside area, where I do a lot of fishing. Yeah, he knows what the fuck he's doing. So you got to do the dramatic slow motion to make it seem like I was on the board longer than I really was. It's all about editing, man. You'll learn that. It's all in the editing. The magic's in the editing.
Right.
Nick, thank you so much for taking us out and doing a little surf lesson.
My pleasure, brother.
I'm sorry I didn't stay up on my feet as much as I could.
Nah, you did great, man. You did
I
great.
was doing my best Jared Goff impression of what you're going to see on Sunday. And that's him getting knocked on his ass over and over again.
Good,
dude,
man.
I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Let's get an Eagles cheer before we go, man.
All right. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
It's awesome.
So the reason why I showed that clip is just that, seeing you on the West Coast, you're catching the sun, you got the waves going, and that's just one video. There's more videos that you were on the West, obviously, but I threw that in there just to show how like you just didn't fly over here and you're just sitting in your hotel waiting for the game. You actually are just out and you seem like you had everything planned out. It just so happened that we're at that bar at the what is it called? The Whaler.
The Whaler, yeah.
And next thing you know, you're in the kitchen. He's making you a Philly sub. You're shooting a video. We come out with the sub and we're chopping the sub. And Dahlia's like, I don't know if she was doing her diet thing yet, but I did see her eat the Philly part of it, and it was just like next thing you know, EROCK's catching some waves with Chef Nick. So it's just everything just.
I try to do that with every city that I go to for an away game. Like I'm not about just sitting there and like you said in the hotel room. I'm really trying to take in everything local. I remember when we went down to Tampa. Me and Gail's flight was like at 4:00 in the morning. We landed, and like the first words out of my mouth was like, "Okay, what's the most Florida thing that we can do right now?"
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the most Florida fucking thing we can do? And so we looked up a gator farm, and so we took Gail to a gator farm right when it opened at like 9:00. And so we're holding alligators, and Gail and his Jordans is feeding turtle, and that's just what I like to do. Atlanta. Going, getting the authentic, chicken and waffle. Like when I go to a city, I can't sit still. I have to take it in. So I don't waste no time, man. So the plane lands, I'm in it.
The next time you come over here to the LA, if you're hanging out, I gotta show you this restaurant. They have this this burrito's like $20, man. It like feeds like a whole family, but it's like so authentic. They started with a hole-in-one place in LA, and they have only one more restaurant because they needed a bit more space, obviously. But man, that's one place I gotta recommend that you go, and it's just so authentic. The burrito, it's so worth it.
When I was out there too, speaking of like just taking it all in. Okay, so we went to the Whaler, we did the YouTube studio, got surf lessons. The day after the game, actually on Venice Beach, is one of my tattoo artists, and he did this. Like I'm overlooking the sunset,
right?
In going the sunset over the Pacific, looking out on the beach, getting inked up. That's something I love doing. I just want to accomplish as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, and you did.
Amount of time in any given city. So
yeah, and you sure did, man.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost done with this memory lane.
This is interesting, man. I'm having fun. Well, some of these things I haven't seen in a long time. That was the Philly in me coming out, because I really enjoyed, all the West Coast Eagles fans, and they were my new favorite fans because they didn't get a chance to see the Eagles often. So when they did, and we won that game, they were all hyped up. But if that game was in Philly, nobody would have celebrated that shit. You would have, if that game was in Philly, you would have never seen that reaction. You would have just been everyone would have just been fuck.
Shout out, but you know what's so awesome though, and it's just another meant to be, is the fact that you had Mama Rock right there.
Yeah.
And she was so smart she knew what was up, right?
Yeah.
And I was right there with you, Rock. I mean, my wife was right there. I'm probably a couple more rows over, whatever, but I was feeling that same thing. It was the sickest gut punch I ever felt.
Yeah, it was the worst.
And I'm like, dude, we just freaking won, dude. And what was awesome was Philly Bird was out there down in the end zone. And if you remember the Eagles, after I think they got that fumble return or whatever, I forgot what it was, but they went to the fans and they kind of did that Lambo leap.
Yeah.
And that was on the news. So Philly Bird was down there with the Eagles flag, and he was all over. He's another fan. He's a super fan. He's always at all the Eagles things, and he always at the right place at the right time. But I saw that. But when you did that video, I was like, man, I wish I could go back in time and be like, touch your shoulder. I'm like, EROCK, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, and I wish somebody did, because I couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, and
the minute they took him out of the game, we all knew it. We knew what it was.
Yeah, I was right there with you.
And I was like, there goes the season. There goes the
Shout out to the wife, because I had my brain fart. So that restaurant is called Al Tapiak, and that is an OG place in LA, and you can't go wrong. So when it is time, dude, we are gonna go there, and you're gonna try that burrito, because I'm not lying, man. That is the best burrito I've ever tasted in California, dude.
Nice, man. Nice. I certainly will.
See, even Elsa knows. She knows. The West Coast people are coming out. They're like, "Yep."
That's cool. That was a nice little trip down memory lane. Some of that shit,
It's not over. It's not over yet, EROCK.
Oh, it's not over.
There's more. Wait a minute.
But wait.
Where is he? Where is he?
Whoa!
Yo, oh my God! Whoa! open season.
Bulls! 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 Bulls!
My brother.
What's going on?
My brother.
Super Bowl fucking caliber, right? I gotta fucking believe, bro.
Who the fuck was that wearing number 9?
Nick Foles, that was Big Nick status.
Just Big Nick status.
Big Nick
Big
status.
Nick status. Unbelievable, dude. I can't wait for the fucking show.
Yo, Nick, he balled out, bro.
He had a quarterback rating of like 141.
Two tutties to fucking Jeffries.
Tutties to Jeffries.
Camera warning.
It's my birthday in September.
And the ginger Jesus Carson Wentz.
Take the tag! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Oh, yeah. We won the Super Bowl. We're fucking champions, baby! It's so fucking funny. Eagles football, and this is our nightmare.
Oh no.
So that we're gonna get into the last bit. I promise you, Edith, we're almost done, man. We're almost done.
Oh no, we're going over the bloopers.
You ready? Are you ready?
Oh
You
my
ready?
God. I think so. Oh no.
Get ready for a lava. You're gonna do some exercising right now.
Holy shit.
So here it is, the Mighty EROCK's Week 10 prediction. You done? The Eagles and San Diego Chargers squared off. It was down the street at Lincoln Financial Field. And the Eagles won that game. I'm gonna...
Jump! Boy!
Strongest so far.
So here it is, the Mighty EROCK's Week 10 prediction. Last time the Philadelphia Eagles and San Diego Chargers squared off, you fucking homeless bum.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
I mean, they basically have a career backup at quarterback in Matt Castle. In fact, what the fuck's his name? I mean, they basically have a career backup quarterback under center in Matt Castle, and even, what the fuck? In my opinion, this is a great litmus test to see exactly where this team is, as last year's NFC number 2 seed takes on last year's number. That's 4. Well, don't record now. The sirens are there. What the hell does it say? We've ever had. But the guy didn't play as snap of football at all last year. This guy's a fucking asshole. Real big jerk. The dude's on skateboards, man. You gotta grow up sooner or later. I mean, you're not a fucking kid anymore. It's called a job. Get one. Get a job. Go to college. Be a working part of society instead of fucking up my video.
Run.
Fuck! All I'm trying to do is film a fucking video. I mean, is that so much to ask?
That's good.
I think I'm done. I've had enough. I've had enough. Now, I really hope this doesn't become a
Jonathan Stewart, scratch for the gang. I don't know that that's a fact. All right, my last key to victory. 66 total tackles, 5 sacks, and a league leading 400. God damn it! It's too many fucking stats. It's too much to remember all at one time. There's been a thorn in the side of the Philadelphia Eagles over the last. Get your fucking brakes checked, you asshole. Super Bowl by this. So the next time the national media wants to sit there and point fucking. Oh, God.
I must break you.
I cannot be defeated.
Oh, Jesus, I'm gonna shit my pants. 5.7
yards of rush now in their normal offense. Wow, boys went on.
All right, so we got the Eagles game tonight. We got the Eagles. That sounds like things that matter. So to the Washington Redskins and the Dallas. God damn it! Fucking, it's so cold. I can't even feel my face. Yeah, so
there it is, man. I hope I didn't torture you too much, man.
Yeah, one of the things with that bloopers thing, and it's kind of, I'll put a bow on it with that, just kind of as a lesson for anybody who's starting out a podcast and starting out a YouTube channel or starting to do any sort of social media that they're just starting out in. You know, I get that question a lot. Like, hey, man, I'm starting out a podcast. You know, what words of advice can you give me? Hey, I'm starting out a YouTube channel. What words of advice can you give me? Or I'm kind of doing these videos. What's something you can tell me as a piece of advice? And my piece of advice is always this: you're gonna suck at it. Like, just be prepared to suck at it at first, and know you're gonna suck at it, and be comfortable with sucking at it. Like that first year, I mean that was either year 1 or year 2. I think it was year 2. I mean, like you're watching it, it's garbage. Like when I started to get a little bit of popularity on YouTube, you know, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, people would go, "What?" I had to delete my season 1 stuff because it was trash. You know what I mean? Like it was stats. I was trying to be an analyst. You know, I was searching for my voice, right?
Right.
And so what you saw there, you know, me putting my hands on my knees going, it's just too much. It's just too many fucking stats. I can't remember. I used to have all the notes jotted down, and instead of being funny, I was trying to be, you know, the smartest guy in the room. And what you saw right there is literally me trying to find my groove, trying to find my voice, trying to find the, okay, what am I trying to do? What even is this?
Right.
You know, and that's something that I tell a lot of people. It's like, look, be comfortable in knowing that you're going to suck at it for a while, until you start to really develop your own voice and your own style and your own sense of creativity and what's important to you and the message that you're trying to put across. And also, what I try to tell people too is don't fucking get upset at I've seen it time and time again, and I've seen people bitch about it. Why is this podcast getting so many listeners and so many followers? My podcast is getting, you know, a fraction of that, and I feel like it's so much better. It's because you haven't put the time in. Everybody wants that fucking instant gratification of, I want hundreds of views or thousands of views or thousands of downloads right away. Why aren't I getting noticed like some of these other guys? It's because you know. And especially I feel bad for people trying to start a podcast right now because when I jumped on YouTube, it was me and like 5 other dudes making Eagles videos. And arguably, like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, it's just the longevity of it. I was probably the best one in the group. Right. Now, there are people that have come after me that have been far superior, far better.
Right.
But I jumped on it at the right time. When I jumped into podcasting, it was 4th and John. It was Bleeding Green Nation, which split off into Go Birds. it was Philly Influencer, and it was Crossing Broad. There was basically 4 Philadelphia podcasts, and the only ones that were Eagle-centric were Fourth and John and Go Birds /BGN. You know what I mean? Now everybody's got a podcast. You know, everybody, you can't scroll through the Twitter timeline without seeing people, you know, trying to, hey, listen to my podcast, you know, give me a listen, let me subscribe, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I can't imagine what it would be like to try to just start from scratch. And so this is like a piece of advice even to you.
Yeah.
If you're in this for, what was that, 2009, and here it is 2021, like if you're in this for a dozen years, you'll look back on the shit you did right now and think it looks ridiculous. Like,
right.
It looks ridiculous. Just like I look back at that and I'm like, what are you even fucking doing, dude? Like, that is not your style. That is not your flow. That is not, like, you can see the foundations of what I was trying to get at.
Right.
But where it is now, it's completely different. But I was like, and thank God I didn't. That's the other thing, too, with the instant gratification. Be thankful nobody's watching you right now. You know what I mean? Be thankful you're it's like a stand-up comedian.
Right.
If you want to play those empty clubs to kind of work out your material and try to find your voice before you don't want to be just thrown on the big stage.
Right.
Bomb. And then you're like, I'm never going to fucking do this again. You have to go in there. You have to take your lumps. You have to figure out what you're trying to do. You have to find your voice, and you have to do that knowing that you're not going to get a lot of subs, and you're not going to get a lot of followers, and you're not going to get a lot of downloads, views, clicks, or listens right away.
Right.
And that you're going to suck at it.
Right.
You know? But you get better. That's the thing. Everybody, if they keep at it, gets better.
And the thing too is that what a lot of people have said about my channel is they like that it's a little different. You know, it's like everybody has their own little shtick. And like I interviewed one of my friends, and I went to his house, and he kind of showed his stuff like that. So kind of like a West Coast Cribs type deal. So, you know, and then I'm going to be out and about, like just like you, and I want to bring everybody for the ride. And then kind of, it's just kind of like, it's like EROCK Adventures. Where's EROCK going to go now? What stadium is he going to go? You know, where is he going to eat some food, or where is he going to get his next tattoo? And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, like that. What's that Jim Carrey movie where kind of like he's being recorded at all times? Like
Truman Show, yeah.
So it's like the EROCK show. So, you know, it's cool that you still shared that. I mean, there's probably not too many views on those bloopers and all that stuff, but it's cool that you're still allowed to show that EROCK's still human, you know, and, you know, you are trying to remember all the stats. You're trying to remember all these players that you're probably not even going to remember years from now, unless they're really good. I mean, there's a lot of names to remember. I mean, just think about, we're trying to remember how many players are on the Eagles right now. It's like 70-something players, and we're trying to all remember. And some of them are probably not going to touch the field this season, but we still got to talk about them and where they came from and college. And it's tough, man, but it's cool that you humbled yourself to it, and you just – I don't know if you rewatched your bloopers back then, and I don't know if it motivated you to be like, man, I gotta stop doing this stuff, or I gotta stop saying this or saying that, and I'm gonna cut it short here.
No, the bloopers were kind of for shits and giggles. It was just kind of me. You know, from very early on, I realized, like, all this, like, analyst shit, nobody wants to hear a fan, or at least how I felt about my content. Nobody wanted to hear me break down fucking stats. Like, there was something there. There was an entertainment thing there. Obviously, you know, my voice wasn't like, you know, I wasn't projecting my voice like I would on Fourth and John or anything like that. But if anybody was to ask me a piece of advice, I'd probably dig up that blooper video and say, this is me literally working through it, and this is what you're gonna have to go through. You're gonna have to work through it and figure it the fuck out, and just work it out. You know.
How much time we got left, E? Because I know we hit the hour. Because we're just having too much fun.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it as long as you want to go.
Okay. Let me get through some of these questions.
Yeah.
So, watching you now, I seen you're fishing and you're catching all kinds of crazy fish, and seems like you're kind of a little bit at peace when you're doing that, which I enjoy because, you know, this life is stressful and stuff like that. How does that make you feel? Like, do you feel like you're kind of getting some of all the Eagles craziness, madness, kind of getting your life back a little bit, like enjoying your life a little bit more? I know COVID hit and all that, so you were allowed to do a little bit more. It's not as stressful, but do you feel like you're kind of like balanced a little bit, or you still feel like Eagles, 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 or do you feel kind of balanced right now?
Yeah, I mean, when the pandemic hit, 2020 was not a good year for me.
Right.
You know, we lost the contract with NBC. Shit started falling apart. I left Fourth and John. And I took a major step back at a time when I felt like I needed to take a major step back. And
Right.
I feel like I kind of did find a balance. Like it got so lopsided towards, you know, Eagles, but not so much Eagles. It was content, show.
Right.
You know, putting stuff out, staying on top of, you know, the time, just constantly with my phone in my face and just kind of letting shit just pass me by, not taking an opportunity to spend time with, you know, better quality time with my kids, with my family. It was just, and all of a sudden it became like I resented it. I resented game days. I resented going through all this shit to entertain other people. Where I resented the show even a little bit, you know, where it was like, you know, I'm busting my ass and for what? So I took 2020 to kind of take a major step back, and in doing so, I think I found that balance. And I think the fact that I'm even standing in this room where we just bought, you know, Jackie and I just bought, which is funny because a lot of those blooper videos, you hear a female voice in the background. That's when we were dating. That's when we first started dating. She would be filming those videos for me.
And that's what made it funny is because when the siren, the skateboard guy, and the motorcycle, you could just hear her just laughing, and I felt like I was here because I would totally be busting up because you're trying to be serious as hell. You keep getting all these distractions, so that was cool, you know, to see that, you know, hear her laugh like that, you know, it's just so funny, man.
So to answer your question, I do feel like I found a lot of peace and a lot of balance. I am going into the 2021 season looking forward to just kind of, it's kind of funny, right? Like you started out on YouTube, and then that grew, and then you jumped on Twitter at the right time, and like my Twitter became my main platform, and
right,
then, you know, and then did podcasts and then NBC, and then, you know, doing stuff for the Eagles, and then here I am all these years later, and the thing that I enjoyed most was making my once a week 6 to 7 minute YouTube, Instagram rant, and I'm right back where I started, and I enjoy that because, you know, there was a point in time where it was just too much. There was a point in time where NBC was just trying to force. Listen, I'm not for everybody. You know what I mean? And I know that. Like I have, like, it's funny because if you say the name EROCK, you're gonna get one of two reactions. You're gonna get, I fucking love that guy, or you're gonna be like, that fucking guy's an asshole. I can't see. Like people either love me or hate me, right? So when it got kind of too big. And you know, the height of Fourth and John, like the Super Bowl season, NBC, it was like taking me and trying to jam it down people's throats. And I caught a lot of negative backlash from that, which I took personally.
Right.
So going back to it now, where it's just like, listen, I'd rather have a small audience that appreciates what I do and enjoys what I do and tunes in, than try to hit the pinnacle of, you know what I mean, try to be up here and be force fed to the masses when I'm just not meant for the masses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right. You know, and it's something, someone had to knock you down. Somebody had to knock you down because maybe, I don't know what it was for, but kind of like you had to look yourself in the mirror and say, like, what am I doing? Wait, this is what I wanted, but I'm not actually getting what I wanted. Now I feel this type of pressure in a different way. It wasn't you got a taste of it, but it was not what you were looking for. You got like a different answer. So, but like again, we all have to fall or take a step back and look and just revisit what was going on. So the fact that I know the pandemic sucked. We lost a lot of family members and friends and everything, but maybe in a weird way, just allowed you to kind of just like hone in on E for a minute, take that step back, and boom, and now baby steps here, and then it starts feeling more comfortable and like you said, at the end of the day, E, you just have to be yourself. That's what why our fans, me, everybody else that follows you. That's why we mess with you. It's because this is the E that we know. If it's a different E, we're still gonna accept it. We're gonna have to deal with it. But when you go back to how we became your fan, that's where the humble comes in. Like that's what you kind of maybe had to see that for some. But maybe you did know it, but it just took you a minute to like kind of take a deep breath.
And it did. I'm way back in my lane. Like I am back in my lane and hit cruise control and feeling very comfortable with what I'm doing now. It's a complete comfort zone. And listen, when you're actually enjoying what you're doing instead of resenting it and being like, man, I thought this was going to be different. Like when I got to NBC, like just right away, it was like, I thought this was going to be different. I don't feel comfortable. I don't like this at all.
Right.
I can't say what I want to say. I can't do what I want to do. I got to say certain shit that I don't want to say.
Right.
I'm getting pissed off at the social media team because they're not pushing the show and then they're not selling the show. So not, I didn't make a dime when I did my time at NBC.
Right.
We didn't make a red cent. They were supposed to be like pushing it. You know what I mean? And then you get angry at that, and I'm like, this is bullshit, man. I'm like,
right.
So right now to be back kind of in my comfort zone, in my lane, it's good, and it's really revisiting the mission, which is just, hey, come along with this journey. If you enjoy what I do, just I'll be there streaming live at the tailgate or streaming live in the stadium when they sing "Fly Eagles Fly," and this year I think what I'm going to do differently, or something that I got planned, and actually it was on the suggestion of my good friend JT. I'm going to be going live on Instagram post game in the stadium. So there's a section of the stadium that I know is kind of quiet, but all the fans are exiting, and just kind of do like a 30-minute post game show.
Right.
Just live on Instagram and have people call. People kind of request to be in and take their takes on it. So you're getting that in the stadium as people are exiting. You're seeing all the happy faces or the pissed off faces. You're just seeing the faces of people that are there.
And if you think about it, you yourself are your own market. EROCK is like a market, which means like you're your own brand. You have your own style, your own way of handling things, and obviously you got your fans that came for the ride. So just kind of for me, I'm not trying to let you do, but I feel that you yourself are your own market, and whatever EROCK wants to do is going to happen. Whether it's the EROCK podcast or whatever adventures you're going to do, bringing us along and all that, you're your own market. People are going to flock to you, and this has been going on for years now. It's not like EROCK just happened a couple months ago. You've been doing this for years now, so you just gotta stick to what you've been doing, which is the classic stuff. And you're gonna add your new flavor, and you like hooking up with Piccolo, and that's just one guy I'm mentioning, but there's hundreds of people that you're gonna meet that have, the chef over there. It's like you guys are all doing like a little mini Baywatch going on. It's just there's so many things that you're gonna run into. Just the EROCK true life story, man. Like you said, you're gonna go back to all these videos.
Yeah, listen, when my time's up and it's all said and done, it's all gonna be out there. It's gonna when one of these days, I feel fortunate and blessed, I truly am grateful to have the experiences that I had and made the connections that I did. But I think one day I'm gonna go back and revisit all of it and go, wow, as grateful as I felt, it's 10 times more than I thought it was,
And it's what I've learned about this whole YouTube is just like your fans, you address your fans. they want to see you. They want to know what E's doing, what they want to know about you. So as long as you like kind of stick to that, like the people that I'm small potatoes, but I want my
No,
fans.
you're not. You're a friend. You're a friend.
But what I mean is that my audience, I want them to have fun. I want to do different things. I want them to introduce everybody that I know that's willing to hang with the Birdman and stuff. And that's just it's just a different platform, and I'm having fun with it. And that's the key thing too, is I want you to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And not be so stressed. Like we said, Eagles. But it's like, hey, wait, you're a human too, EROCK.
Yeah.
Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that you would have so much fun going to the West Coast with Eagles gang and all that? Did you ever think, being way the hell over there, that you're like, hey, I'm gonna have fun on the West Coast, thousands of miles away? Did you ever think that would happen?
Honestly, no. As well traveled as I've grown to be, there was a point in time where I wasn't, and then not too long ago. I mean, I'm only talking. I've been going to away games. We go to MetLife because it's so close. I'm actually right now where I live. I'm closer to MetLife than I am, by a little bit, closer to MetLife than I am to Link. So we'd always go there to see a game, but going to all these away games and stuff like that. Listen, it's no secret that out there in the atmosphere, in the NFL universe, like, it's known that Eagles fans are a passionate group, and they're very intense, and they're into their football. And it's a sports city, not like many other sports cities. Where in Tampa they may not give a shit, or Arizona they might not give. No, the Eagles could have a losing record, and everyone still wants to talk about the fucking Eagles because they're pissed off. You know what I mean?
Right.
It ruins Mondays and makes Mondays. And I always thought, like, you always see everybody holding up the trophy at the end of the year, no matter what sports city they're from. St. Louis Blues, fucking Tampa Bay Lightning. Kansas City Royals. Trying to think of another NBA, like, an NBA city, whatever. They always hold off the trophy and say, and this is for the best fans in the world. You know what I mean? Like, in Boston has the best fan. There's a Kansas City, best sports fans in the world. So I always thought when we called ourselves the most intelligent or the most passionate or the best sports fans in the world, that I thought we were always kind of like tooting our own horn a little bit. Like, it was kind of like bullshit. Like, everybody fucking says that, right? We're just trying to talk ourselves up. And then, man, I'll tell you, that West Coast trip really opened some eyes, because it was my new favorite fan, because I was getting some, like, essays, with the bandanas and the shorts and the pulled up socks. They were like, yo, man, I love the Eagles, man. I've been holding it down for the Eagles. I'm like, you're my new favorite person in the world.
Orale.
Yeah, and it was really an eye opener, to be honest with you. I was like, damn, like, we really are a passionate group, and especially to be that loud and that proud on the opposite side of the country. That would open up some eyes. Yeah.
Like San Diego, Jamaican over there doing the West Coast Swoop Nation.
Yeah.
That was fun. And what's crazy is that there's Eagle bars in Mexico. Yeah, I'm like, this is wild, man. I can't, and it's so awesome, man, because like the Hispanics are really getting into this. Like they like love their birds, man, and it's just awesome, man.
But just any sports city you go to, like when I was living in Philadelphia, I'm not sure it's there still. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know in Philly there's a Kansas City bar.
Right.
And I know there's a Buffalo Bills bar. That's it.
Yeah.
But like, I can't go to a city without hearing like about 2 different Eagles bars.
Right.
In any given city.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, so it just goes to show, like, I don't hear about 2 other Patriot bars. I don't hear about 2 other Indianapolis Colts bars in any given city. But I'll always hear about 2 different fucking Eagles bars in every city.
Yeah. If I lived in Hawaii, I'd definitely be doing a Eagles bar in Hawaii. Wherever I would be at, I'd be having that Eagles bar. Okay, let me get another one. Do your kids know who dad is? Do they understand who daddy is?
I think my daughter does a little bit, but my son has no. He has no.
So your daughter does. So how does she feel about, like, you have these fans out here and going to dad and stuff like that. She
I try to keep her away from it, to be honest with you. I don't encourage that on her, and that's one of those lessons learned. I had her do just on Twitter like a little like. Remember when Cam Newton, it kind of said to that female reporter like, "Oh, a girl talking football, that's funny." Or it's, yeah. So I had my girl, and I drew her up routes, and I told her what to say. But I was like, hey, listen, say this, and I just did it for my Twitter audience, and it blew up. I mean, it absolutely blew up. And it was the weirdest thing in the world, because here was this 4 or 5-year-old little girl, and if you were on the right side of things, if you were right wing, you were like, look at this feminist little. I bet you she has Hillary signs hanging, in the front lawn, fucking all this equality bullshit. And then the left side was shitting on her because they were like, oh, she's a racist. Her parents are probably racist because Cam Newton's a black quarterback. And like, she was just getting shit on from both directions. I'm like, this is an innocent 5-year-old girl. And now that she's 11, she's looked back upon that. She's gone and Googled it and looked back. And I remember her showing, like, she was at a sleepover and she showed, oh, I was on the news once and I went viral once. And then that parent was reading the comments and came to me and said, like, look, re-show me that video and stuff like that. There was a lot of nasty comments underneath that. And I know at some point it's going to register with her, like, oh, people were shitting all over me. And that's a weird part for an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old girl to try to be like, oh, I thought I went viral in a good way and showed, like, feminist, like, you can do it, girls. Like, that was the message behind it. Like, you show them, girls, ladies, let's do it. And she was just getting shit on. And I try to keep ever since then, I try to keep my kids away from it.
Yeah, the message got turned into something. It's very, you got to be politically correct in words and how things are taken. So,
and there was like a picture of a unicorn too. She drew a picture of a unicorn, and it was like, she said, Cam Newton, why do you dress like my grandma? And I thought that was a funny, like, I fed her that line. I thought that was a funny line, but it was so weird to see people like, you guys over here hate you guys. You guys over here hate you guys, but both of you are shitting on this 5-year-old.
Right.
You know what I mean? So ever since then, I really try to keep my kids as far away from what daddy does as possible. And I'm sure there's going to be a point in time where Reese grasps it and looks at all my old shit, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, she'll know. She'll understand. And like, I'm all about, like, girl power, and that's why I've been having females come onto my show, because they know football just like the guys. So I kind of like let that world in where we're talking sports, because there's a lot of females that they're not getting scared of talking football with the guys, and I preach that,
Nor should they be.
Yeah, and the good thing is that if you both are the fan of the same page and your husband and wife get to talk football, they don't have to hate each other on Sundays. Like, you're gonna watch football again.
Yeah.
If both of you are doing it, happy wife, happy life. Let's see. If you were not EROCK and the leader for Eagles Nation, what team would be your second team if you had to make that choice? Which you don't. What team would that be?
All right, so I have been asked this, and I have put some thought into this.
Okay.
So I do have an answer.
Be careful.
No, I will 100% be careful. So like away from football, away from Philly, away from the link. I'm a big beach guy, right? But I'm also like kind of a history buff too. So beach and history, what do you kind of think of, right? You think of like pirates, right? so like I don't know why that segment of history has always fascinated me, whether it's the freedom of it or just it was a lawless time and no rules and people just kind of made up their own cultures and stuff like that. But based upon that theme, kind of a beach theme, pirate theme, I would either probably be a Raiders or a Bucks fan. If we're just picking. I always like Seattle's uniforms. That would be within. That's just going. I really have no other ties emotionally, family-wise, having lived anywhere else. I think the Giants uniforms are ugly, so it definitely wouldn't be Giants. But I think if I'm just taking my own off Eagles, off Philadelphia, just all football interests and incorporating that into the team, I would say either the Raiders or the Bucks.
Not bad.
I mean, that's a weird answer, but I mean, that's the answer. Yeah.
So besides the Super Bowl, what's your greatest game or memory of, I guess just a game. What's the second greatest game besides us winning the Super Bowl?
Definitely the 2004 NFC Championship game. Like that was my first taste of, oh my God, we're going to the Super Bowl. And honestly, I liked the 2004 NFC Championship game more than I liked the 2017 one. Even though, that was a magical run, and obviously we won it at the end, and we killed the opponent. There's something about, like, when you're at a game and it's going one way or the other, heavy, either you're getting your ass handed to you or you're kicking ass, that eventually you just kind of, when it's time to sing the fight song, you just don't have the enthusiasm that you normally do, right?
Right.
Like you get sick of singing it. You don't get sick of singing it, but you understand what I'm saying. With that 2004 NFC Championship game, like we had the lead for the most of the time, but it was close. It was a very close game. Like it didn't end until Chad Lewis, tiptoed that touchdown in the end zone. Like at any point, the Falcons could have won that game. They could have scored 2 touchdowns and won. So it was a nail biter to the end. It was my first taste of holy shit, we're going to the Super Bowl. It was an exciting finish. There was a point where we thought we were going to win the Super Bowl. So I remember that one as probably being. I preferred that one over the most recent NFC Championship game, to be honest with you.
So, and then when you heard B-Dog say what he said, like, how did that feel?
It was great. And then B-Dog saying what he said wasn't even the big deal. Because at the time, B-Dog was a staple.
Right.
I mean, B-Dog always had something to say. And every time he had something to say, it would give you chills. So that wasn't out of the norm. What was really out of the norm about that whole accepting the George Halas Trophy was Andy Reid. They asked him, hey, do you think T.O.'s going to play in the Super Bowl? And he goes, I got a feeling he is. And we were all like, oh, shit. Because he wasn't supposed to be recovered by then. He was doing that hyperbolic bullshit. I don't know if he was getting stem cell injections, but when coaches will usually dance around that kind of question, but when he goes, oh, I got a feeling he's going to play, and we were like, oh shit, T.O.'s going to, oh fuck, we're definitely winning. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest surprise or biggest moment of that part.
All right, that's a good one. What's the weirdest encounter you had with a fan? Not much?
Yeah, nothing comes off the top of the head.
That's good then.
No. You know what? I'm sure tonight I'll be laying in bed and I'll be like, fuck. And I'll call you up real quick. I'll be like, you know what? I want to change the answer. But no, there hasn't been any real – any time somebody comes up and wants to take a picture or wants to say hi or wants to talk, some Eagles, I really try to make it about them, like, hey, what do you think? What do you think about Jalen Hurts? What do you think about Carson Wentz? What do you think about Nick Sirianni? And I'm always very humbled. Again, this shit isn't lost on me. I do feel blessed. I do feel very fortunate. So when somebody's like, excited to say hello, that always very, very touches me,
All right. Here's a crazy question. If I told you that the Eagles would win another Lombardi trophy, but there was just one catch, and for you to do for the Eagles fans, you would have to live with Cop Pizzle for 1 month. Would you do it?
Oh, I think I could live with Cop Pizzle for a month.
You could?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get that Vince Lombardi. Yes.
100%, because it wouldn't even be about, he would try to make it about football and what football team's better and shit like that. And listen, all these Giants fans, it makes me laugh so much because we're at a point in time right now where all Giants fans are just so fucking pissed at the Eagles. They're like, yeah, well, you don't even know what your quarterback's going to be. No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're looking at. We don't know if Nick Sirianni can coach. But you know what I do know is that we're going to be a fucking thorn in your side the entire time. And if we find a way to screw over the Giants again and again and again, we're going to take it. So you can try to trash talk me about however many Super Bowls you got or how you think Daniel Jones. I don't even give a shit. You know what? Fuck you in your playoffs. Fuck you. We got your wide receiver. Fuck you in general. You know what I mean? And I think it would be a piece of cake living with Cop Pizzle. Because any of his shit talk would just be like, I don't care, dude. We're still screwing you. You want to take it in the morning, or do you like taking it at the night? Because either way, you're getting it both.
You were on a boat, and you could only save one. Jordan Howard or Boston Scott?
I'm definitely saving Boston Scott. Because ever since Darren Sproles retired, us 5'6" guys don't have a lot of people waving that banner for us. You know what I mean? Like, I need a 5'6" dude in the league doing something, trying to do something. Like, I need to. Every time I see every time Darren Sproles, had a big play, I was like, hey, I'm the same size. I'm the same height as he is. And then when he retired, I'm like, shit, we ain't got nobody left. And then Boston Scott came and listen, he's got to pick it up. He's got to do a little something. He's got to represent it,
Right.
For us short guys, but Jordan Howard can go. Boston Scott's got to stay.
Okay. Are you cool to play a quick little game?
Yeah.
In honor of Nick Sirianni, Mr. Rock Paper Scissors himself.
Yeah, you got
it. All right, let me get my little stopwatch here. You got 15 seconds. So I'm going to give you something. You got to mention 5. Like, I'll give you an example. I said, give me 5 shampoos. So you got to be the Herbal Essence.
I'm going to suck at this game.
What'd you say?
I'm going to suck at this game. But let's give it a try.
All right. I try to do something that is maybe not too hard, but you never know, man. These games, it's a pressure cooker. So, okay. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'll start the timer. Okay, you ready?
Right.
Give me 5 Marvel characters.
Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor, Incredible Hulk, Black Widow.
You got it.
Okay.
Nice. You got it. So you're going to get a gift from Ortega Mugs. My wife will be making something. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it'll be a special gift for, joining the show today. The other one was going to be, I had 5 candy bars. I was going to give you that one.
Snickers, Mars, Almond Joy. I love Almond Joy. Payday.
You're good, man. And the other one was I was going to give me 5 X-Men.
Wolverine, Cyclops, Dr. Xavier, Beast, Storm.
Dang! Wow, you're man. You've been hanging around Nick Sirianni, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, if you ever see him, give him 15 seconds to get an answer for you.
Yeah,
that was great. All right, give me EROCK's top 5 Eagle players in no particular order.
Just my Eagles players, or
your top 5?
So this is not like we got to go back to Chuck Bednarik and shit. This is just guys that I like.
Your Eagle. I mean, if you were at the park, these are the guys you're bringing to the game. 5 Eagle players. Your top 5.
So all right. So obviously B-Dog.
B-Dog?
Yeah. I always liked the way LaShawn ran. I thought LaShawn was incredibly underrated. For as good as he was, and as for like, I thought he was always better than what people give him credit for.
Right.
Especially in an underutilized offense.
Right.
I would take John Runyon.
Okay.
Just because that guy played hurt, he played tough, he played stinky, he played
old school, very old school.
He never missed a game. He was reliable. I mean, I'd have to take Nick Foles as my quarterback.
Oh, nice, nice.
You know what I mean? And forever, I'll forever love the guy. Probably Kelsey.
Oh, that's an all-star team right there.
Yeah.
All right. Give me your favorite jersey. Your favorite Eagle player jersey. You could put 2 if you want.
What's that?
You could do 2 if you want, but what's your?
No, I always, for a while I used to rock these customized jerseys and they had EROCK on the back, but it was always
right.
It was always number 21, and that was for Eric Allen. I was always growing up. Kelly Green, Gang Green.
Right.
A child of the late '80s, early '90s. And my name's Eric, so the only other Eric on the team was Eric Allen, and he was always 21. So even to this day, like a lot of passwords include 21 in it. Not that people need to know that.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit of football.
Okay.
If you had to give a hot take that no one knows about on this season, give me a hot take on what's going to happen.
It's not necessarily a hot take, but it's something that I'm kind of buying into, and I kind of believe that Jalen is the guy. That Jalen is the guy, and I think the Eagles can really surprise a lot of people this year if that is indeed true and that is indeed the case.
Okay.
Because we all know this is a league of the have and the have-nots. If you have a quarterback, you have a chance. Period. If you don't have a quarterback, you do not have a chance. When you take a look at the rest of the division, Ryan Fitzpatrick, as beloved as he is and as likable of a guy he is, he's not the dude. Daniel Jones, most Giants fans aren't even convinced about Daniel Jones. They don't know if he's the guy, and he's entering year 3 up there. Dallas, they don't know if he's the guy because he's coming back off an injury. And, the Eagles fans especially are uniquely qualified to speak on that due to the Carson Wentz situation. I mean, Carson got injured, never came back to be the same player. It could be a different injury than Dak Prescott, but is that one worse or is that one better? Right. He kind of shredded. I mean, Carson was an ACL tear. Okay. Those are easily fixed. Like this was a bone thing.
Right.
With Dak. So
right.
If indeed Jalen can be the guy, all of a sudden you're taking a look at those 3 first-round picks next year and you're going, oh shit, that we're playing with house money right now.
Right.
I'm convinced that Dolphins pick is going to be top 10. And let's say we're middle of the pack next year, and we should be middle of the pack next year.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to have a pick in the top 10, that's the Dolphins pick. We're going to have a pick in the teens, that's the Eagles pick. And we're probably going to have a pick in the 20s, which is the Colts pick. I mean, think about what that could do for your franchise. Take a look at this year's draft. That would mean that we would walk away with Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, and then whatever offensive lineman you fell in love with and pick 20 through 32.
Right.
You know what I mean? Imagine what that can do for a franchise. Now all of a sudden you're not thinking about other quarterbacks. You're not thinking about Deshaun Watson and what you got to give up to go get him. You're thinking about how do we build this defense to maximize what we can do, and it really follows a blueprint of Carson. Jalen Hurts is the guy. I mean, year one with Doug Peterson, who never called fucking plays, was an offensive coordinator.
Right.
You know, a rookie quarterback, which you have to take a look at Jalen as a rookie quarterback, because here's a dude who came into the league during the most difficult offseason ever in the pandemic season. No face-to-face meeting, OTAs, none of that. Rookie camps, whatever they could maximize the exposure of being next to each other. No preseason, play for, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of got to treat him like a rookie. And then it's Nick Sirianni, is Doug Peterson. So if he can be the guy, all of a sudden, after the 2017 Super Bowl, I said to myself, I will never say never again. So if he's the guy, great. Now you start building the defense. You start building around him. Listen, man. I know this is kind of a little off topic. I just like the vibe of this team right now. You know, week one last year, I put on the YouTube or Instagram video that I didn't like the fucking vibe.
Right.
I didn't like Jason Peters asking more money to play tackle. I didn't like reports of Zach Ertz getting in a verbal altercation with Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
I didn't like the already there seemed to be like two camps, a Jalen camp and a Carson camp. I just didn't like the fucking vibe, dude. And I was like, this season's not going to go well. Because I feel so much better about the vibe right now because they're finally taking that run it back Super Bowl mentality and just going, fuck it. And now it's all young guys who heard about the Super Bowl but weren't there to experience it. And they all seem very hungry and very eager to get down to business. I like the vibe, and I think a lot of that surrounds Jalen Hurts.
I also like the new vibe. I
love the vibe.
I think we can all agree with it. And here's one thing that I feel like the Eagles franchise is kind of like going in uncharted territory when it comes to like, why are we doing this coach factory? Like, what are we doing here? Why is Howie not on board with what the coach is doing and the coach is not on board? Like, I don't understand. It seems like we're sitting at a table and we're trying to fist bump each other because we made a decision and we're not fist bumping each other. It just seems off. So how does this get fixed, EROCK? How do we stop this awkward feeling of this vibe? You know, is this, do you think this is a real vibe and we're going to move forward and we can have a coach for 5-10 years? Or do you still think that there's kind of blood in the water and Howie's still on the back burner and we kind of don't know what we're doing?
Yeah, when I talk about the vibe, I'm talking about the vibe with the players and the vibe with the coaches and the positive energy that's going on with the 53-man roster and kind of what's on the field. But I'll agree with you 100%. There's kind of an awkwardness of the front office.
Right.
Awkwardness of the scouts, you know, Howie maybe not listening to the scouts
right.
trying to communicate to Howie. What I will say with that, and I wanted them to clean out. I wanted Carson gone. I wanted Doug gone.
Yes.
I wanted the big three out of here and just hit because to me, when you hit the reset button, you can't fucking just like, no, you hit that. You hit that son of a bitch. You know, you got to hit it hard. Otherwise it doesn't fucking work, right? So I do believe, you know, people say that Howie's untouchable, that he's never going to get fired. I don't think so. I think Howie is on short notice and is pretty much on notice that in other words, he's got nobody to blame this year. Nobody. You can't go back and blame Doug. You let Doug go. You can't go and blame the quarterback. You trade him.
Right.
So all the players on this roster are your decision. All the coaches that were hired were your decision. Everything's now on Howie. So if this thing goes tits up, it's because of Howie. Howie can't turn and point the finger at anybody else at this point. It's on Howie. So if he fails to draft impact players, you know, if Devontae's not the guy, which I think he's going to be, but if let's say heaven forbid that he isn't, or you know, we're not seeing any impact players out of the draft, or the free agent moves seem to be bunk, and you know the move. I think Howie's on an incredibly short leash. I really do.
So let me say this, playing devil's advocate here. If Jalen doesn't do good, Smith doesn't do good, Landon Dickerson, well, we're probably not going to be able to see him, but we'll just say Smith and Jalen, they just don't look good.
Right.
Is Howie still here?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you're the owner, right, and you know you've got 3 first-round picks next year, and you are at a critical juncture of your franchise where this thing can either be turned around or blown. Like, look, Jeffrey, for his many flaws, is not a dumb guy, right? So if you have 3 first-round picks and you take a look at the general manager currently in position, you go, yeah, you won a Super Bowl, but you know what? That 2017 draft, where we drafted Derek Barnett and Sidney Jones in the first couple rounds, we didn't get dick out of it. And then I mean, we could just go down the drafts where it's Andre Dillard. We're not getting any impact out of that guy. Jalen Reagor, we're not getting any impact out of that guy. You keep taking a look at these first-round picks where you're just not getting any impact out of them whatsoever. Are you going to trust 3 first-round picks to that guy?
Yeah.
Just use your head. Just use that common sense. Now, does that say that now is that to say that Howie's incapable of weaseling his way out of shit? No, but I really think like there has to be an end game here, right? And I think Howie's kind of maneuvered his, kind of deflected that blame enough to the point where he's now backed himself against the wall.
Right.
There's nobody else to blame, dude. There's nothing else you can say. If the team doesn't perform, if the team looks like shit, if there's not impact players or there's free agents in draft, that's on fucking you. Plain and simple.
Right. So
it's a lot to digest, I know.
Yeah. So how do we get to the promised land? What kind of wins are we looking at? I'm not saying Super Bowl and blah blah blah. How many wins do we need this to be successful? And what does Devontae need to actually do? Now, I don't need the rookie of the year and all that stuff, but what do they realistically need to do for those first round picks to work? What do you need to see from those 2 guys? What needs to happen?
I almost don't want to quantify it because I hate quantifying stuff, because quantifying stuff is the same thing that leads people to tell you that Jalen Hurts is no good.
Right.
Because they try quantifying what they take a look at the game log, the charts, the stats, and they go, this is why Jalen Hurts is no good. No, bullshit. Right. Fucking trust your eyeballs. You know what I mean? We saw in 2016, Carson didn't play his best. Carson didn't light the world on fire, but there was flashes, there was glimpses there.
Yeah.
So, like, this is something special. Look what this kid can do. And even in Doug's offense, there was glimpses of like, man, imagine if this was clicking on all cylinders. This is the first year with it, so you kind of get a pass.
Right.
But if this is clicking on all cylinders and Carson, man, if you can kind of, if shit can be on par with each other. So that's what I'm looking for this year. Listen, if Devontae Smith gets 1,200 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns, the rest of the team looks like shit. That don't do nothing for me. That don't do nothing for me. If Jalen Hurts throws for 5,000 yards, but the fucking defense is shit. What I'm trying to see are those glimpses of like you're progressing towards something. And it's hard to quantify that with statistics. We get so caught up in statistics and Pro Football Focus and all that ranking bullshit that's just meant for clicks and and views and the quantify, web traffic that is does he or does it not pass the eyeball test? You know what I mean? So I'm looking for that fucking guy. So I'm looking for for this season to be a success. Throw the record out the fucking window. Because what did Doug win his first year? 6 games?
7.
6-7 games his first year in 2016. I don't give a shit if they win 6-7 games next year. I need to see what I saw in that 2016 team. That's it. I'm not asking for playoffs. I think they could do it based upon the rest of the way the division shakes out and the way the rest of the division looks. But that's not my end-all, be-all to what the Philadelphia Eagles are moving forward.
Now I'm asking another tough question because a lot of people don't believe in Jalen, obviously. Can he run, to get some, a little bit more than what we're used to seeing without him being like, there's this thing where they think he's just only a running quarterback. But do you appreciate that style, or you want him to be kind of, I'm just going to stay in the pocket? And if he stays in that pocket and it doesn't work out the way, we want it to, is that Eagles' fault for telling him to stay in there? Or, because I'm in the ballpark where we could just let Jalen play Jalen's game, and I don't think we should mess with it. How are you with that?
If Nick Sirianni tells the truth, right, and it always sounds good when you say it out loud, that I'm not going to – my scheme fits the strengths of my players. Every coach fucking said that until they have to fit the scheme. I mean, you can't just coaches' schemes aren't just amoebas that can go off in any direction. If that would be the case, you'd be like, I'm trying to relate it to a Marvel character, like the all-knowing, all-seeing. Bill Belichick was good at that, just amoeba, transforming his offense from a vertical threat offense to a 2 tight end offense to a run-oriented offense to he kept changing it up based upon the strength of his roster. So if Nick Sirianni's genuine with that and he's going to fit to the strength, what he's going to do is he's going to implement an offense where you can showcase all of Jalen Hurts' skills. Meaning you're going to allow him to run in certain circumstances. You're going to ask him to stay in the pocket in other circumstances. And the times you ask him to stay in the pocket or to set up the run or to set up, because you can get a big chunk of yards through the vertical game that maybe you couldn't get with a 1 or 2 reads. And it's give and take. Jalen's got to do a better job of progressing through his reads.
Right.
He's just got to do a better job of it. But again, I'll go back to the fact that he was a rookie. No preseason. And let's not discount the preseason because Nick Foles looked like shit in 2017, right? Yeah. Because he didn't have a preseason and he needed those last games of the season and then a bye week, which Carson earned them, to then go into the playoffs and look good, right? So let's not discount the preseason thing. Let's not discount the fact that team was more banged up than the Carson apologists makers would make for Carson. Like that team was even worse off than the ones that Carson looked like shit in. At the end of the year. It was all like guys who were bagging shit at Wawa, making hoagies. There was nobody left on the roster. So I think it's a balance. You look at the league's very cyclical. You go through that period of the Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's and the Drew Breeses and the league. It's got to be a pocket passer. It's got to be a pocket passer, right? The quarterback is within the pocket. And then all of a sudden, the Patrick Mahomes and the Lamar Jacksons come into play. And it's like, no, you need a running quarterback. You need a running quarterback. And it was the same fucking way with Donovan and Vic and Culpepper, right? It's reciprocal. It goes one way or the other. But the truly special ones, like a Russell Wilson, find that middle ground, and can make it happen both ways.
So you're more of the just let the man play. Yes, we're gonna.
He needs to be better. He needs to learn. He needs to be better. He needs to be able to take constructive criticism, which I think our previous quarterback wasn't necessarily all that great at, which I think Jalen Hurts has the mindset to do. He needs to get better.
Yes.
But at the same time, Nick Sirianni needs to let Jalen be Jalen.
I agree. Because if we're going to try to – I don't think we're in the business to mold a quarterback right now. Just like change this guy's thing.
But you better be. You better be in the business at this point of developing a quarterback.
Well, as far as like totally telling them that you're not running. You're just take the hit. You know, I feel like his instinct is there, and he's a smart player. Because when you really think about it, we're just trying to get that first down. We're trying to make those chains move, because if we keep going 3 and out, I mean, how many 3 and outs did Carson do where he was hesitant, where he could have probably got the first down, but he hit wheels backwards, and here we go with another 3 and out. And every time you put our damn defense back on the field, you are tiring our defense out, and it's just going to get old and tired and old and tired. So we need those chains to be moving. We need our running backs to be moving. Our running back sitting pretty on the sideline does nothing for this football team. I don't know why, Doug. It's like, Doug, you were there at the Super Bowl, right? Did you see what you did? I mean, Corey Clement looked like an MVP, and then the next year he just disappeared, and the next year he disappeared. It's like,
yeah, that was a really frustrating thing with Doug.
Like, what happened? Like, it's funny because you made a video where we sold ourselves to the devil for the damn Super Bowl. It's kind of like what you said. I know it's funny, but it's almost like true. We really sold ourselves, and the injuries that I am so sick and tired of that blue tent popping up, and then they kind of say, well, he's not that bad. He might come back in a week or two. And then we're a month later, like, I thought it was just a week or two. Now we're a month into it. You know, that whole Jordan Howard injury, what the hell was that? You know, like, once Jordan was out, you know, our running game was handicapped, and we didn't really have a running game anymore. It kind of just disappeared. And I don't understand, but again, that's another subject for another day. This is a new dawn of era, but I really feel that Sirianni is going to correct these problems and just get back to basics. It feels like, right?
Yeah, it really does feel like a get back to basics sort of coach, a get back to basics sort of move, a get back to basics, like, because really, what can you do at this point?
Right.
Besides get back to basics.
Yeah, that's true, Mark. Shout out to Mark tuning in. All right, this has been fun, man. I hope you know, you had fun with the show today, and
yeah, man.
This was a nice honor, and you know, it's good to see you out here on the platforms. Keep doing things on Instagram, you know, and Twitter. I don't know if you have a TikTok. Do you have a TikTok?
Listen, the last thing I need is another platform. You know, and the last thing I need is more fucking content to create. So I've been avoiding it. I can't say I can. You know, if it just becomes one of those things where it's unavoidable, I'll fucking do it. But
yeah, what I like about TikTok is that they let you use music to like up 30 seconds or so. So you know, I be doing my Jalen Hurts songs, you know, with John Mellencamp. Hurts so good. I be using a lot of the songs and just doing funny things. Like I like, you know, me and you are just, when it comes to like doing silly shit, I'm game for it. You know, as long as it's, you know, all in fun, man. I mean, we only got one life to live, and just do it you know, just have fun with, like you said, and like your bloopers and all the silly stuff that you've done and looked at over your lifetime. But it's all good, man. You're right up my alley. I'm the same kind of guy. I do a lot of silly shit with my kids that they probably think, Dad, you're a little too crazy, Dad. But you know, they say they hate it, but they know they love Dad's antics and stuff like that. But
yeah, man.
Dad, us dads are crazy. I'll tell you that much.
Have to be.
But EROCK, it was a pleasure, man.
Thanks
And
for having me on, man.
tell the family I said hi, Mama Rock, all the family. You guys are like my Philly family out there. So when we meet up, hopefully we meet up soon, and everything goes well. So
yeah, man. Looking forward to it.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for everybody who tuned in. If you want to plug your show or anything, let them know. If
yeah, it's the Mighty EROCK on Instagram. And YouTube, the Mighty EROCK, if they want to go see some more bullshit. You know what I mean? Some more
go check out he has plenty more of those bloopers, and you can't go wrong with the bloopers and the Santa Claus, the cockroach dressing like a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I got to go back and revisit. I've completely. That was a nice little trip down memory lane because I forgot.
Well, hopefully you had fun. And we got to see that 40-yard dash. See what it. You got to compare the numbers from back then and now, man.
Man, these knees ain't what they used to be from then till now. Oh man, I put a lot of wear and tear on these. I don't know about that.
I see you in that dojo, man. So come on, those knees are working, doing something.
Oh, I'm hurting the day after. I'm hurting the day after. They're not gentle over there.
All righty.
All right, man.
See you.
Thank you.